Welcome, adventurers, to Probability of Demise, the podcast where critical fumbles meet critical facepalms. Join us as we delve into the darkest dungeons, slay the stupidest gremlins, and roll enough ones to make a beholder weep. Forget epic storylines and heroic deeds. Here we celebrate the chaotic beauty of bad rolls, questionable decisions, and characters with more charisma than sense. We'll be your dungeon masters of disappointment, guiding you through campaigns where the only guaranteed treasure is a mountain of laughter, and maybe some psychic scarring. So grab your Nat 1 dice, strap on your anxiety helmets, and prepare to witness the glorious train wreck that is our D&D journey. Because, in the end, even if your character dies face first into a pile of pudding, at least you'll have the dice god's permission to laugh your ass off. Welcome back to Probability of Demise, a lovely, wonderful, beautiful, magical podcast that you like, subscribe, buy shit from. Fake sipping because I ran out of coffee. Join us as we do stupid stuff in an imaginary world that is our own creation. But first, a very important message from Seraphina.
Word of the day!
Greeting to my fellow word seekers. It is once again time for the word of the day. Today, we will once again roll our amazing D100, and we will discover a term to spice up our adventure. So let us roll and see what words we find. Thank you. All right. So, today's word of the day, I rolled. What did I roll? What number did I already roll? 76. I forgot how I wrote it down. Which is our word, agrarian, which is something described as agrarian, has something to do with farms or farming. So, used in a sentence, Joan hopes to leave the city life behind and move to a more agrarian region where she plans to raise goats and grow heirloom tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Nice
crispy bacon. Sauteed tomatoes.
Awesome. Well, just as a general reminder, Jess, you also got the word of the day last time, although I feel like you abused the word, but whatever. Life happens. We have had an amazing few experiences here. Now, previously, there was an exploding house escapade, there's a bricked up temple surrounded by an angry mob, and the group became infected with weave-worn disease. Seraphina's father's condition was highlighted, and we learned about what the wyvern's venom had done as a treatment, and also a potential outbreak of weave-worn, but also just wyvern's venom addiction because of it being used as a cure-all by that same bricked up temple. We also talked about the potential actions and such through a lawyer. Gus kind of set up some arrangement, that including employment for Seraphina's mother that might be a little bit more robust than the many jobs she has apparently been juggling. The group has considered potential leads and potential investigations, including the murder of the Nightingale, the involvement of the Ascended Temple, and the implications of the wyvern's venom itself. They've also discussed the need to gather more information and possibly leverage some government connections to uncover these corruptions. And in addition, the meeting kind of concluded, brought together Sticky Beak, Gus Schniffelschundenden, Seraphina, and Ulua. I'm making it worse and worse each time. I actually say Gesunden Schniffel fairly well when I'm trying not to be ridiculous. Planning their next steps, thinking about different things, and talking about trying out Dispel Magic on the little slip of paper here. As you sit there pondering this and realizing that none of you actually know how to dispel magic, racking your brains thinking about people you may know, go ahead, and anybody who wants to say that they know somebody, go ahead and say it.
I know someone. I don't actually know someone. I just wanted to be a part of it.
Okay.
I think, I mean, in terms of people who can see magic, maybe Oksana might also be able to dispel it.
So, with that information and a bit of agreement amongst the three of you, and the four, because Sticky Beak agrees but is going to hold back, you all head to the house, to the Serene house.
Sincere house.
Sincere house. I'm forgetting today. This is already rough. Such a great start. So
shout out to Rurik, because we exhaust them to no end, and we drag out. Yes. So shout out to Rurik for putting up with the three of us continuously.
Yeah, we're like a few minutes in, and we've been on our recording software for an hour and a half. So there's that.
God, that sucks. I might cry a little bit here, because it's like, the thing is like, y'all get to admit that you have your various ADHDs and tisms and issues pulling you away. I got all the same issues and I'm supposed to keep on it, and it's too hard right now. Okay, so bringing up Oksana's name, you all decide to take your leave from Sticky Beak and the others that are around you and go and seek their help. Heading off to the home of the Comshare, to a place of refuge from the trials of city life, you all get to the Sincere house, and sitting outside, not even within the walls of her domicile, there is Oksana, sitting in a little bit of pool of light, taking in the view of the city as the scene in front of her changes from day to twinkling evening. Welcome back. Another slumber party, it looks like.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out, well, what to do with everything that we know. But we have this one clue that we're not quite sure of. None of us can seem to make heads or tails of it, so I thought maybe it might be enchanted in some way that we can't read. Would you happen to be able to... earlier you took one look at me and you could see magic. Can you...
You see her eyes already starting to glow a little bit, and she's looking you over, and then she looks over Seraphina and Gus. Well, whatever. I mean, it's still there, but you look okay now.
Yes, we for all intents and purposes, intense, not intense, intense.
Like literally in a tent?
No!
Intents and purposes.
In wigwams and purposes.
That'll be
No.
my next word of the day.
There's a common, people say intensive purposes, which is wrong.
That.
All intents and purposes. We are cured. We have a few limitations to actions we can take.
Oh, so it's one of those things where it could flare up, but symptoms are under control.
In summation. But we have a clue here that seems to be, well, musically inclined, but none of us seem to be able to solve it. Basically, we don't know if this sound puzzle will... if it's something that we can... if there's something we can do to solve it, or I thought maybe dispelling magic might help.
Oh, well, Well,
we're at a bit of a loss.
we do have that old. Well, I think that they were more your contact than mine, but Sir Gregor is pretty well versed in magic. My skills are fairly basic, but you could bring it to them. I'm sure they've always been very giving.
Truth. My concern about visiting any of our contacts is letting anybody who's possibly paying attention to us know that we have those connections. I did write him a letter briefly explaining about the factory and the building materials that we think caused all of us, and I gesture to Gus and Seraphina, to be infected with what it is that you saw on me.
Well, he is a night owl. There's no reason you couldn't get ahead of your letter.
Where's he located?
The Hollow Council, he keeps offices within.
I actually, the face she drew looks like someone I arrested many years ago, who is currently in that prison. So, perhaps we could kill two birds here.
You want us to kill the person that you put in jail?
Two birds, one stone, two tasks at the same time. Just a saying.
I just, sorry, with everything that's been going on, I wasn't sure if you were being literal.
No.
Well, do you need anything from me? If you're hoping to slip in unobtrusively, that's simple to do. There is a big event with the farmers. You could go in an agrarian disguise and make your way there.
That's not fair!
Yeah, you tell the story.
That's not fair!
That was really impressive.
Oh, there just happens to be a farmer convention.
Hey, you all have the opportunity to use it now because I just told you you could dress up as farmers.
Yeah, that's
so if
really
you don't take
Ulua
advantage of this
style.
setup here, then
It's not fair. Fine.
I kind of want to say stay in your lane, DM, but you're the DM, so it's all kind of your lane.
just having a little bit of fun to get myself reset into the happy mood. So, if you would like, I mean, we have costumes, and she looks at you, Gus, for a moment, of all sizes.
If you think that's necessary, I suppose we could do that.
Oh, you said that, well, Ulua, you said that you wanted to slip in unobtrusively. If you prefer, just head on down. There's so many people in and out of the Hollow Council, I'm sure that no one will notice.
I do think it might be better if we at least take some measures to make ourselves less identifiable. If we want to do the costumes, it could be fun, and I'm quite handy with, disguises, so I could, change us up a little so that we're just a little less.
I do still have this. I just take out my mask of one face that we got from.
Yes, but that might be something to save for when, in a pinch, when we don't have
Wait,
time.
we can only use it
prepare.
once?
I do believe it's one use.
The
Oh,
mask of one face.
Did you use yours?
I don't think any
Nobody's
of us have
used
used
any
it.
of it.
Okay.
So I could use mine.
You could.
I feel like it's going to be hard to hide this.
You have very little faith in me, don't you?
When it comes to this, yes. I have a lot. A lot of horns. A lot of hair.
Would you permit me to try? Can we play dress up? Just a little bit? You let me try? If you hate it, you can use the mask.
Deal. Wait. Yes.
You sure? Only with your consent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As long as you do it.
As they walk away, I'm just going to lean into Oksana and be like, I'm not really sure that Ulua is the one to make her less horny, but and just walk away and follow them.
Oksana just takes a deep breath, walks down the pathway from the house, off to find her evening food. Anywhere but here. The three of you getting disguised and dressed up. Seraphina is getting a makeover of sorts from Ulua. Gus, are you going to take advantage of Ulua's skill set, or are you going to do something of your own?
Yeah, I'll let her do it.
Okay, then Ulua, guess what?
Roll a...
Who are you dressing up first?
I think let's start with Gus, just because I think his might be a little bit simpler and less time consuming.
Actually his is simpler. Gus, I would like you to roll a d20. Ulua, you get to roll a d20 with advantage.
Okay. Let's see.
And Ulua, you're going to use your insight.
Okay.
Am I just rolling straight, or?
Gus, you're going to roll an intelligence saving throw.
15.
Okay.
19.
Beautiful. So Gus, with a 15, you're not quite acting the full part of the look that you've been giving, but you've been given a really good look. It's not difficult for you to fulfill this role, though, Gus. You've gone undercover before. You're well within the realm of looking like a farmer right now.
So for Ulua, there's probably snacks, and I'm just gonna be like, oh yes, nobody will ever suspect me as a former member of the Shitty Watch now.
As you're nomming away on a pastry
Donut.
of deliciousness,
Stupid.
Ulua turns her attention to Seraphina. Seraphina, I need you to roll 2d12s, add them together, and tell me what the number is, but I need you to do that via as private a mode as you can. Ulua, go ahead and roll your insight check, and then I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Okay, and the insight check was still with advantage?
Yeah. This
Oh,
one
okay. Okay. So then that's a 22. And then my dex save. Same number, but what's my 21? Wow. Okay. You're good today. You can stay there.
Ulua, you see the end of your creation. A young farmer. The way that you've woven the hair and horns to create just a big bushy mass, and
More so than normal?
really recrafted what was there is impressive. Seraphina, you feel like you have to juggle 20 different things to not mess up the look.
Mm.
And anytime you try to do some more sophisticated actions rather than just walking sedately, I will need you to make dexterity saving throws.
Oh man, okay.
Otherwise, the disguise will fall apart.
Oh,
Ulua, dress up yourself.
Another insight, or
Yeah, it's just a straight.
I'm doing.
Performance?
This is for you. It's performance. Yeah, you're just doing performance for yourself.
24.
Great. You definitely inhabit the character that you've created for yourself, and you look like you just came off of the smokestacks, one of the food factory areas. You all seem to look the part. Yeah, so the three of you make your way down to the Hollow Council, I'm presuming. Evening is settling in. You can hear people as you pass through the various districts on your way there, whether you're taking cart or just taking a long walk through the Skyway Strip, even whatever method you choose to get there. The sounds of the evening are alive. There are people hawking food. There's music playing. It is a normal evening in one of the more rambunctious areas of town until you come to the larger homes and, let's face it, mini mansions that surround the Hollow Council. And there it becomes a quieter space. Your footsteps actually have sound of their own and don't blend into the hubbub. And as you come to the council gates, guarded but lightly, people passing in and out, the press of bodies is significantly reduced because this isn't prime hours, but the Hollow Council's always got something going on. It's not one of those public institutions where the night is closing. It is one of those locations where there's always people in and out. There's always some work to be done. There are people who keep the night hours, whether they're members of the Watch, members of judicial branches, or some other facet of the city. You make your way in past columns that probably have had years and years of deferred maintenance, crumbling their facades, but are otherwise holding up the structure just well. The cobbles are broken here and there. It is a place where time has not been kind, and fiscal responsibility as a political entity has had its own impact, where things that were not deemed of importance to individuals with short-term memory had a long-term impact on the overall space. Going deeper within the Hollow Council, past various entries and reception areas, you do come to Gus, familiar territory. This is where people are interred, and for Ulua, it is also familiar territory. You've walked down these steps before for many different reasons, but one among them being that this slow curving staircase does go down to the office of your contact within the Hollow Council. Sir Gregor
How convenient.
keeps his offices in an area just adjacent to the prison space, partly due to space needs and such, but it is rumored that Sir Gregor's phylactery is also kept down here. I cannot say that word without stumbling over it.
That's a big word.
Yeah, it's got a lot of letters. And it's here where you hit a crossroads and a decision needs to be made. Do you wish to go down the passage towards the offices of those who keep underground spaces, many of whom are just more comfortable in the underground world? Or do you head down a little deeper to the containment spaces where those who have been held an indeterminable number of years, months.
Like we could just walk in.
Well, if you go down that way, you know that eventually there are going to be those who challenge you and have you check in. But visitors are not something that's unheard of in those spaces. There's not a formal presence to keep you out of Hollow Council spaces that you are going towards. Offices and the prison space are not guarded like council chambers are. There is no reception in these spaces. These are not folks that valued highly enough to have their own reception. But they're also, especially with the prison has to have public access because people visit their loved ones even if they are incarcerated.
I feel like I would probably head wherever I know or infer Sir Gregor is most likely to be in order to have the conversation. Can I roll like a history check to see if I know whether he prefers to be, I don't know.
Oh, you would
to-
just tell me what you want to know, and I'll tell you if there's a role for it at all.
I mean, I want to go to where I think he's going to be.
Yeah, you can go to his office. What I put in front of you was the choice between going down towards his office as a group or going down towards the incarceration spaces, the containment cells. So that's the decision. Are you going to stay together? Are you going to split up?
I think it's better if we stay together.
Split the party. Split the party. Hey, split the party. I'm just kidding. We don't have to.
Okay, so you all head down to Gregor's office.
That definitely needs to go on TikTok. And maybe make a t-shirt out of it.
Like split the party with a dab stick figure.
Yeah, there's
Okay. So as you don't split the party and head towards Gregor's office, you come to his door. It is shut. You can see that the wood seems to be the same worn white surface that it's always been, at least in your memory. Impressive that his door is white, considering the deferred maintenance you see everywhere else. So someone cleans this door, and for all you know, it could be Sir Gregor himself.
I knock. Ding, 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 ding.
You hear a shuffling and a clattering, and then the door creaks open. Nobody's at the door. The shuffling and the clattering was a series of pulleys that Sir Gregor has arranged so that he doesn't have to open and close the door. He is sitting...
Isn't
And
he a
you can-
magic user? Can he just magic it open?
That's kind
Not his way. You see him sitting behind a large desk, also completely white, holding a very fine cord. It looks like it is made of, well, who knows what it is made of. And the whole space is in various tones of white and yellow.
I feel like Seraphina respects a good pulley system.
I was
That's
just
what I
about to
was
say
thinking.
while they speak to him, I want to investigate this door and the pulley system.
I would love for you to roll an investigation check.
Thank you. Investigate.
I just love how they're having an apocryphy while you're I can't remember the word.
Apoplectic?
Yeah, they're having a moment.
I was too focused on the fact that this man invents things. Plus something.
Mood.
Okay. Investigation.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. So, 22.
22. With a 22, wow. Okay, so
I can fix it to make it better. No.
you might be able to. And as you're looking at it, you realize that it's not cable or cord. Looking more closely at it, you realize that it's a contraption of ligament and bone.
Ooh, that's nasty.
That's gross.
You can fix it and make it better by using metal and cord.
Yeah. Or just getting up and opening the door.
I'll let you tell him that.
Okay, thank you. That was all I wanted to do. I was like, ooh, an invention.
Okay.
So wait, now we do see him, right?
Yes, you see him sitting behind that big desk, that big white and yellow desk.
It's me.
Refresh my memory. I can't quite place you.
It's me, Ulua.
Ulua. You see his gaunt visage kind of freeze in a creepy, uncanny way as he tries to remember. Oh, yes. Yes, I do remember you. The Gomshare, a new thing. Quite exciting. Changing the world.
Maybe. Listen, and I gesture to Gus and Seraphina, we're looking into a few things around the city. I actually wrote you a letter. It may not have come to you yet, but there's a few nefarious things occurring in the city that we are looking into.
Always.
Yes. And one of them involves a current inmate within confinement here who our esteemed former City Watch member arrested and had put away. But it seems that he's connected to things that are going on. Would it be possible for us to speak with him under the guise of maybe perhaps he committed crimes against our families and we want to confront him or forgive him or...
You just use the visiting hours. That shouldn't be anything that you require me for.
I don't know. I don't know what level he's being kept at. He was quite...
I do.
I mean, in terms of security, is he...
I would have to assume that his jailers should know this. You'll have to ask them, as anyone would in the public queue.
Well, will they give us any trouble if we say that's why we're visiting?
Unless he's some infamous outlaw.
Well,
he shouldn't require... I mean, visitors visit. Unless you're seeking a formal... which, by formal, I mean public record. And I don't really feel like I remember that as being your preferred...
Gus, would you like to expand on who we're referring to?
Sure. Rurik, is this the person from my backstory?
Yes, it is.
Okay. There is once like myself, I suppose, once quite famous killer by the name of Magic Mike, who's a wizard and who killed many people 80, 90 years ago. I was the one who caught him. But there was a premonition that we saw that contained what I believe to be his face in it, and I want to ask him some questions. We want to ask him some questions.
Well, I don't see any reason why you can't. Just the name doesn't ring a bell, which generally means either the history has faded and he's just a prisoner, or no special treatment is needed. So you should be able to get down there and claim visitation rights. It's evening, which counterintuitively in our city happens to be the best time to get someone from their jail cells. A city that never sleeps.
I believe Ulua also wanted to ask you if you have a certain spell.
That's correct. So
You just see his, where cheeks should be, spread in a toothless smile, showing the skeletal interior of his skull through his open mouth. And what spell can I perform for you, my friend?
We found a clue. It was originally sent as a message, and we realized it was an encoded message, rather through sound, but none of us have been able to figure it out. I thought perhaps if we try dispelling the magic, the information might reveal itself, but that may not be the case. And I kind of turned to Gus and Seraphina, and we're like, if we dispel the magic, then we might lose the clue completely. So I think I don't know if that's the right course of action to take, or maybe you could at least take a look at it and see if you might glean more information from it than us.
Well, this is quite the fun thing. I always like a nice little dispellation. And as he says dispellation, Seraphina, you have clued into this, but Gus and Ulua haven't. Seraphina, you investigated that and saw the ligament and bone, and you've realized that this office defies the usual definition of a room, because as you step through that door, that big white door, that's bone. That's skeletal frame. And looking around the room even more, you've realized that the massive ribs of the arches in this office are ribs. Glowing runes are etched into that bone, which are what brings the light. And as the dust motes dance in the air, swirling in that cavernous space, you start to realize, Seraphina, that Sir Gregor themselves is almost a simulacrum.
Oh no.
You are inside of Sir Gregor.
Okay.
And instead of a desk, as Gus and Ulua have seen, it's actually a massive polished sternum that's serving as the work surface. And you can see the parchment scrolls that are all meticulously arranged on its bony expanse. They're held down by ornately carved obsidian weights. And there are these leathery, clawed hands, fingers tipped with silver rings, resting on these documents and moving them about and arranging them right now.
Sir Gregor, super nasty.
With a low groan, a section of Sir Gregor's ribcage, aka the office, swings outward, revealing a pulsating alchemical circle etched directly into the inner bone. Runes that glow a vibrant purple writhe and twist, and you can feel power humming in the air. All three of you feel this power. This is no ordinary desk. It is a potent magical tool, and it's designed with the singular purpose of disrupting and removing unwanted enchantments. This, my guest, is where the true work is done. Here, come within the very core of my being. I can sever the unwanted magic.
Well, and I turned back to Gus and Seraphina. I'm like, do we want to try this on the chance that we lose it forever, or? And I kind of, I mean, am I clued into what it is now, kind of seeing, or am I still?
You can go ahead and roll a intelligence saving throw with disadvantage.
Okay.
Sure, Gregor.
While she's rolling, oh sorry, just a question for
Perhaps-
her. What did you say the desk was?
The sternum.
Sure, Gregor. Perhaps before you dispel the magic, you could inspect the clue closer and see if you could see something that we've missed. I'm just remembering right now that we all rolled like crap trying to solve this thing, so...
Certainly. Let me see the scrap.
I think I have it. I think I was the last one to try to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I hand it over.
He looks at it. Well, if I had living eyes, I might try to blur them. This looks like one of those things where the picture's hidden. But,
So, Gregor, the only one who's ever been to a mall in 1997.
I can't quite make out what it's for. But then the performing arts were never my thing. And he hands it back to you. It's musical notation from a century or two ago.
I'm gonna look at it again and like blur my eyes and see if I can see the...
It's the lyrics to the milkshake song.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Which is a milkshake.
No. Oh my god.
While Sir Gregor is able to identify it as musical notation of an ancient sort, it is not. He is not in himself musical, and does not have the ability to understand more than that.
Could you be kind enough to copy it down for us, since we're not able to see it the way that you do, for some reason?
I mean, it's just right there. I can make a copy, but
Like, we're not able to see it, right? Like, he's seeing it, we don't see it?
you can see the squiggles that seem pretty random, like an alphabet soup, like I described before, that's all destroyed. And as he kind of confused, you see him scribbling down exactly what's on there.
Is it just that this is like quarter notes and whole notes and things that we just don't know that notation system? Is that the problem?
Yeah, it's like a foreign music system, a foreign language, a foreign way of denoting mathematics.
Okay.
It's clear as day what it is, but what it is does not necessarily make sense without the right background or information.
I know you're not a musician yourself, but you've been around the block a time or two. Any chance you recognize the cultural significance of this notation system?
You know, there are scholars that really specialize in this work. You might have to seek out some of the more musically inclined. Ulua has some contacts. You might have to find, somebody who has been around for a long time.
I mean, that is kind of what we were hoping with you, and it was suggested that we should at least, consider asking you, as long as we were coming here anyways.
There is an Underton musician, a siren. She's been around for as many centuries as I have, and she definitely has seen this before. But it takes a lot to get her to come out these days. She needs something fun and exciting to do. If you have an idea, we can invite her. But
I wonder,
Like a party.
so
oh, she was a huge
dinner?
fan of parties.
Oh, party.
I have a thought.
Dinner party.
I have a thought. And this might be beneficial to the other things we're looking into as well. If I arrange a night of food, drinks, entertainment with
Debauchery.
A party.
I mean, I feel like that ends up being the case, even if it's never necessarily the original intention, depending on the guest list, which it seems that the majority of the people who are behind these plans are not among the common people. And my guess is the machinations are from the mind of people who are higher up in our society, who are less likely to see crap, Larissa can't remember the word, the consequences of their actions and or see repercussions. So perhaps if I have a very, what some would consider elite guest list, which would definitely create an atmosphere of debauchery, maybe we can use that to
So
our
you're
advantage.
looking for a honey trap of sorts, or a parlay of individuals where they're not aware that they're feasting in the enemy's den.
Do you think you could be supportive of such an event and convince those, if I provide you with a list, perhaps?
I can see what levers I can pull. And as he says that, he reaches back and Seraphina, you see him reaching for another set of ligament and bone. And you have no idea what is tricked or trapped by that, but something is done as he does that. I feel a spurt of excitement. I think you've reignited a faded old being, my dear Ulua.
Great. Okay, well, I will then supply a follow-up letter to the one that's currently on its way to you. But we definitely are looking at people who are in charge of manufacturing, people who benefit from manufacturing, people who are benefiting from the division in class and socioeconomic status. Does that kind of help get your mind on the right set of people we're looking for?
Definitely. And I feel like our friend Anya might be useful in this.
Do you suggest I write to her, or would you like to coordinate?
Whichever way you prefer, but she may be faded from memory, but I do know that she likes to hang out with... This might set fire to her passions again.
Then perhaps I'll schedule an in-person visit, simply in case correspondence is intercepted. And my correspondence will simply be under the guise of a suggested or looking for suggestions for a guest list for a wonderful party.
Well, if we want to bring in all those who rest on high, we'll want to invite the Silver Queen. I can handle that, if you'll handle Anya.
Okay.
There's some others.
Okay.
Amara, the counselor. You know what? As long as we can coordinate this through you, Ulua, I'll make sure your guest list is fairly rich. And anybody in addition you'd like me to add to it? Things move quickly in ascended circles. I
What about
suggest we have this happen.
Edelman.
What are all these names?
Yes.
Wait, Gus doesn't know that name, right? Like, we recognize.
You all shared it, I think, in public.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think.
That's it. Okay.
Unless I'm totally mistaken, but I totally believe that you all talked through that already.
Okay.
I'll add Edelman to the list. And we'll want to grab some of those.
Hey, Jess.
Wanna
Edelman
grab some
was
allies.
Edelman was the central figure that's in the vision that seems to be the one running all these different bad things.
The only one that you could recognize.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you wrap up the conversation, you can see that Sir Gregor is already deep into some sort of process of summoning.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. So we're like inside of his chest cavity, basically, but also he's sitting at the desk.
Yeah, it's a strange,
Magic.
worrying thing because if you were able to see it, Gus, and what Seraphina definitely does see is people might have it wrong. They often think that Sir Gregor's phylactery is here. And what Seraphina is saying that is that no, Sir Gregor may make up a large portion of the Hollow Council's physical building. And what she's trying to make out here is that this is some sort of simulacrum, illusion. You'll have to actually do something to figure that out to figure out what is right in front of you representing him. But what Seraphina is saying is that this is a decomposed, rearranged skeleton that has been crafted into this office. And who knows what else. So far, you just see parts of the rib cage and the sternum. It would require other delvings to find the other parts of this body.
I want to know more, but also I don't. Gus doesn't know that this is what's happening, so I can't know more. I'm wondering, like, did we shrink when we walked in, or is the lich just really big, or is it like a whale that the lich killed and turned into a building, or
A dragon?
a dragon?
Don't know. Really big dragon? Skeleton?
I mean, Seraphina, are you asking these questions of the lich?
No, that was Jessica throwing
Okay.
in random. Maybe this?
Maybe we're in Tiamat's ribs. Who knows?
Well, because I do want to throw in that because Seraphina can't move because she's scared it will move everything, and because she's grossed out by the fact that she's inside of a ribcage, I would love to maybe on the way out of the office. Or do I want to do it inside the office? No, I want to do it on, like, as we're leaving. I just kind of want to, like, maybe if we go to the prison, I want to do more investigations to see, like, is all of the Hollow Council a skeleton? Is just sections of it a skeleton? Or is it just his office?
Okay. Yeah.
So I just sort of want to be doing that as they may be doing other things.
Yeah. So yeah, and if you're leaving, but the wheels are in motion for an event. He indicated that it needs to happen quite quickly. We can fast forward through this a little bit rather than role playing it out. I would love for you to establish a time and place. Like even the next evening is something that he's going to offer because he can establish a venue quite quickly.
So soon.
The wheels of governance have to move quickly when you want something spectacular to occur.
Well, it's nice to know the government can move fast doing something.
This is less government and more opportunity. If we can bring our siren song out, too many will want to be there to not have it happen quite quickly. Also, less time for people to think too deeply.
Fair.
Ulua, are you agreeable to this, or do you need more time to make your rounds?
I think. I think as long as I can get to Anya in person, the rest will fall into place rather easily. So, I think I'm all right following them for now, and then if I feel like I need to leave, I will. But are we not going to? Yeah.
Okay, so you all head down to the jail, and as you leave the office, Seraphina, the door closes behind you, and it's semi-triangular in shape. You see now, and you realize that this closure is a different material than the framing around it. The framing around it looks like it might actually belong to an ear. And the closure
Hate that.
is a bleached, waxy substance that is so petrified that it has become as though it was stone and then whitewashed. Walking down the hall, you realize the rest of the building and structure is
I was actually waiting for Seraphina to do that the whole time. Like,
is stone. It's just
dry heat in his
regular
office.
old building. So whatever the connection is between the office and the rest of this building, they're not the same.
Good to know.
You head down to the cells. There is a room of entry and a guard sitting at a desk. It looks unprison-like just because of the well-lit space. There's a counter, there's seats to wait in. Just looks like the entry to possibly even like a dentist's office, except that there's too much room, too many places for people waiting to sit.
Okay, I will go up to whatever the reception area is. We were just trying to disguise ourselves coming here. I don't need to be like disguised right now, right? Like if I want to give my real name, I feel like it would be
It's up to
easier
you.
to get in to see him. I feel
It's from your, I would say this, Gus, from your experience with this place, you would have been entered into a whole different pathway here. But you know that visitors just are visitors, and it's really a question of, does the visitor get agreement from the person they're trying to visit? There is, this isn't complicated, it isn't hard. It's just meeting up with somebody who can't go anywhere else.
okay. I'm gonna go over to the reception desk and put on my undercover voice. Like, well, hello there.
Hello. Hi. Do you have a appointed time, or is this, surprise family visit?
It's a little bit of a surprise visit. We're just dropping in.
Hi, Kai.
We run a little
Hi,
agrarian operation with one of your prisoners' sons, and we just want. He asked us while we're in town if we could just stop in and check on his old daddy.
All right. No worries at all. Just some clarifying questions I have to go through with you. So who is it that you're seeking to run into here?
Oh, he's I guess he's a kind of a mean old murderer. His name is Magic Mike.
Magic Mike. Let me just check through the spell scrolls, and he pulls out a scroll and starts finger scrolling through little lights up and everything, and he pulls up another scroll.
I think his real name was Mike Johnson, but I guess that's not as cool a name for a prisoner, you know. So he kind of went by the other thing. Somehow the name Johnson has lived 3,000 years into the post-apocalyptic future. My bad.
Okay, so what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay, can you juggle?
Yes.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
I once kicked a sheep.
What are you worried about regarding your safety during this visit?
Do you say, are you or what are you?
Are you worried about your safety during the visit?
No.
Is this a conjugal visit?
No.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how blue are you feeling today?
5.
Do you think that they deserve what they got?
Yes.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
African swallow or European swallow?
Good. Don't even know what those things are, but sure. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Super strength.
I thought it was
Mike
gonna be
Johnson,
light.
aka Magic Mike, has some strange questions on their list here, but hey, I'll just give me a second. If you want to sit down there, we can have a little moment of awkward silence, or you can talk amongst yourselves.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's not too much longer before
Like, that's
departure.
my undercover character. His name is Bucky.
The mirror behind the person kind of glows and comes to life, and he looks back and, all right, they're in to see you. You just go through that door down that way. You're going to want to go down to the 6th cubicle. There is a chance that you are going to be recorded via magic in case of any untoward incidents. So just be aware that you are not in private here. And seeing as this is a non-conjugal visit, you'll be behind glass pane.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your help. You have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
Oh, always are. Okay, on your way. And you are directed towards a visiting space with long stretch of windows. There's a couple of individuals on your side of it, speaking with people across the way from them. Night owls of various sorts. Some of them, well, you'd have to take a closer look, but who wants to really know who else is visiting people in prison? And the three of you make your way down to
Can I do that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Roll an insight check. Or, just roll an insight check. So I'm going to use that. See what personality you get from.
Insight. +2. And 14.
You do see a stoic woman with a thick beard. She's sitting hunched over with a satchel. And across from her is a hulking warrior who seems to have a ton of chains. And the hulking warrior is the prisoner. You can see that this is like a defiant look to them. And that there seems to be like some just anger there. And the dwarf woman with her beard is just like, she's stress combing her beard right now. There's also a young elven-looking woman with bluish hair. She's fidgeting next to an elderly human who's just draped in some pretty tattered robes. And they're waiting for somebody to show up on the other side of the glass. Or that person's already left. Who knows? And then you see another one that's a person sitting opposite a shimmering cage. On this side is this cloaked figure, and they seem to be shrouded in shadow. But where the prisoners sit, there's just this shimmering cage, kind of just an otherworldly glow. And you can kind of make out the faint outline of a winged creature, like a griffin-esque look. And it's just a interesting little dichotomy of the shadowed and the bright, glowy situation there. But as you make your way down to your number, Gus, to what was presented to you, there's nobody in the chair yet.
Out of curiosity, how many of these people did I put in here? I feel like if I was the murder police and this is the murder ward, then I'm curious.
None of these are old enough.
Okay.
It is a little bit of a beat, but you have plenty of time to find yourself seats. There are stools about the space that can be dragged to different locations. So the three of you, I'm guessing, gather around the same spot.
Sure.
Yeah, eventually. And I think, Gus, you just have the most familiarity with this person, but they are aged. They are a long-lived being, but they're not as an immortal young anymore. They are not that long-lived. And as they come up, you can see that they have actually fairly nice clothing on overall, given the incarceration situation. So somebody on the outside still values and cares for them and makes sure that nice enough things are sent their way, or they've figured out how to utilize the machinations of the world behind bars to get what they need. They don't really appear all that threatening. It's a little bit, you can see, Gus, the youthful charm that was there when they were going around killing half of Underton and Overton. And yet you quickly can spot some of those faded tattoos that were forbidden magics that they put on their body, and that their eyes just flicker around a little too dangerously. And you catch, especially with your insight into their past, you catch that they do let their eyes flare with magic, but that the room's mechanics quickly dampen it down and block their magic. You can see that they have some scorch marks on their clothes, probably indications of trying to cast spells on occasion and having them quickly snuffed out by just the how this place is put together.
Does that mean we also cannot use magic in here?
You would have to roll an Arcana check for this space.
Okay. I don't know, because that was a 2. So.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't come up
7
before.
total, but yeah.
Hasn't come up before. He's a mage who crossed a line. But as he sits down, Ulua and Seraphina, you've seen that drawing that Ulua made, and you can see the resemblance.
I'm going to start in my character and then be like, well. And I'm going to take off my hat. In my head canon, my costume has a big, like, wide straw hat for some reason. I'm going to
Nice.
take that off and, like, set it on the table. Michael, how are you?
Well, aren't we just a pair of old has-beens?
You know your entry questions have been the same for, like, 40 years.
Well, I keep hoping for the conjugal.
Well, can't help you there. I'm sorry.
Only disappointment. Well, what do you need?
What do I know about his life? Do I know if he has children or if he... Do I know anything?
Roll a history check just to see if that was ever part of the investigations.
12.
He didn't have any family. There were people that he had manipulated. I think from your police procedural sort of thing, you would have truly a charlatan in many ways. They got people to trust him. He twisted things around, and he was a serial killer. He was driven by this innate desire to watch his magics harm someone else and end their life. He's skilled, but kind of had disregard for the collateral damage of his skills. And I think just that narcissistic personality, it's hard to know who was actually a friend versus somebody manipulated into being connected to him.
I'm just going to look at his outfit. Like, well, seems as if someone has decided to take care of you. It's not the standard prison uniform.
Oh, you mean tattered rags? No.
So, we've come across, in the course of an investigation, someone who looks quite a bit like you.
His eyes flicker for a second. Not possible.
Are you sure? Ulua, can I see that drawing, please? I'm just going to set that down and be like, I've sat across this table and many others many times looking at this, just like gesture to his face. Like, I know that chin anywhere.
You know, time changes things behind here, and there are ways for people to get things from you that you don't always wish to give when you're held in place unjustly. Early on, I had to give power for food, for water, for these fine threads. But all that's changed. All that's changed. What can you do for me that I would give you the information you're seeking? And his eyes keep flickering down to that image.
How do I know you have information to give?
Oh, perhaps I don't, and this is just a waste of both of our time, but I do like being up here. Happy to waste all the time in the world.
I suppose you would be. Well, I can certainly put in a word. What is it that you need that you're currently short on? You seem to be doing okay.
I'd love them to lighten up the restrictions. And he wiggles his fingers, and you can see that there's the attempt to cast some sort of cantrip, but it's immediately snuffed out.
I don't think anybody here is going to go for that.
Well, then my secrets remain my secrets.
All right. Perhaps we'll just tell Edelman you weren't cooperative. I start to stand up.
Wait. Sit back down.
Oh,
Sit back down.
all right. I sit.
What does Edelman have to do with anything?
Well, Edelman seems to be involved with this face on the drawing in some way. Whether he wants to work with them or find them and kill them, I can't say. But I'd like to find them first.
No. Nope.
Seems like you might have a bit of a grudge against Edelman. Maybe even, dare I say, afraid of him.
Roll an insight check.
That's a 21.
Whoa!
You can tell that he's reluctant to reveal anything right now, and you hit the nail on the head way too hard with saying that he's afraid of Edelman. But it also appears that he's more afraid of what might happen if he reveals anything to you, and he's got competing fears going on. You've introduced a new one that has caused confusion, and you can see that the sweat.
I'm going to lean in a little bit. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. You know how these interrogations work. We just say things and look for a reaction. You've been through many. Honestly, I don't know Edelman. I've never met him. But I know that he's involved in something bad. I know that the face in this drawing is involved in it with him. And we are looking to stop him. So if he's a threat to you in some way, it's in your best interest to help.
With that reveal, I would like you to first roll an intimidation check.
I think when the dice jumps on top of all my other dice and cocks between two numbers, I probably have to reroll. Give me a second.
Yeah, two different numbers is hard.
Yeah, that's happened to me, but there's been sometimes where it's landed absolutely like flat.
Perfect.
And then it's always a really good roll, and I'm like, can I use this?
So there's a 13 for the
Whatever decision
intimidation.
you make is what you have to do forever.
You just stick with it, yeah.
13 on intimidation. What was the other one?
Okay, 13 on intimidation. Roll another insight check.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, 7.
Sorry.
It's hard to read his expressions now. It's like he's shuddered suddenly with your words. Whether your intent was to cause him an additional concern or fright, but the truth that you revealed sent several flickers of concern through them. And you know this individual to be a master manipulator. And you can see he's kind of stuck in a, how do I turn this?
Yeah. I'm going to push the drawing towards him. Just be like, that's your son? Grandson?
No reaction on either of those.
Nephew? Clone?
When you say clone, the corner of his mouth quirks. You can't tell if it's a smile of amusement or something else with that insight check.
I mean, whoever he is, she'll be dead soon. I just hand the drawing back to Ulua.
As your voice slurs and you say she'll be dead soon, that's when you catch fear.
The question is how... Hang on. I'm going to do an insight check on myself to see how aware I am of my own speech impediment.
Do I realize?
15. I'm going to call that a yes. Like, oh. Ulua, in this vision, do you recall seeing any stubble or beard on that chin?
If it was there, I would have drawn it.
Turn back to him. Daughter? Granddaughter? Look, I know... I've known you most of my career. I know that you don't care about anyone but yourself. So, I think the reaction I'm seeing from you here is the most genuine emotion I've seen from you in decades. At least the most genuine emotion that wasn't maybe anger. You're clearly worried about something, and I can help. So why don't you just tell me what you know?
Your rise to fame was on my downfall. She'll kill me.
What, and take you away from all this?
Either way, she'll kill me.
She is in the one in the drawing?
Takes a sigh out. I was good at magic. She's even more insidious. Her ability to reshape reality to her whim. Her ability to manipulate the minds of those around her. She's a ghost. And either I stay as far hands off as I can, or I die here and now.
Listeners,
Beware of what you see, smell, and hear. Don't trust your senses.
give me a name.
As he's looking at you, you realize he's frozen in place, unmoving. Roll a perception check, all of you.
A perception check. Let's see.
7. Boo.
Natural 20.
A natural 20.
Plus 5. 25.
Hey. At least one of us.
Was not prepared for that. Okay. Perception. Mine's not as good. Not that bad though, I don't think. I lied. I don't remember what I didn't remember what my perception modifier was. 12.
Okay. So we'll take this in order from lowest to highest. Gus, you are just confused by what's going on here. So what happens next is astounding to you in a way. Ulua, you catch sight of some object that seemed to have flown behind him for a moment.
Him being Mike?
Behind Mike within the prison structure itself. Seraphina, with your natural 20 plus 5 to 25, you catch sight of a hooded figure, similar jawline, on the wrong side of the prison barricade before they flicker and disappear. All of you here. Well, you found one rat. And now I found you. 3 troublemakers interrupting my plans. I'll have to take care of you next. And as that voice echoes through, you see that the other individuals on your side of the barricade have all stood up and are staring at you, clenching weapons in their hands.
Not good.
The individuals on the other side of the barricade are also standing up, but they can't get through. And you can make that out most clearly because the glowing figure with a slightly griffonic winged shape is bashing itself against the barrier.
Right, so all the prisoners on this side are armed all of a sudden?
All of the prisoners
All the
are on the other
visitors.
side. The visitors are the ones who are armed. Your armaments were not taken away from you.
Gotcha.
But it's like everybody in this space has suddenly turned antagonistic against you. I would like you to all roll a initiative.
Is he dead on the other side of that window? Is that what's happening?
Yes, very much so. Very, very dead.
Again.
Oh my goodness.
22.
22.
Can't surprise me. I would double shot you.
I missed. I miss. I
Now I
missed.
gotta go. Oh wait, I want to roll
Deck me
this one.
motherfuckers.
Not good. +5.
As he watches them all stand up, Gus just pulls the donut out of his pocket.
9.
Okay, so I get your numbers, Jess? What you get?
9.
Larissa, what you get?
9.
Who has higher
Oh.
dexterity?
Probably not me.
I have a
Let's see.
+3.
I also have a +3.
Rollies.
Rollies.
Ooh,
12.
19.
Ah.
Now you roll a 19.
Larissa. Jason, what'd you get?
22 with a natural 20.
Nice. Okay. Jason, you are first up. You can now tell you didn't catch sight of the individual on the wrong side of the barricade, on the prisoner side of the barricade. You heard the voice and you hear the screeching of chairs as the other people on the visitor side get up, and you make out that those on the prisoner's side have suddenly become antagonistic as well. And looking around the space, you're quickly able to assess that you're under threat of attack here. What are you going to do? And just FYI, this doesn't have to be an initiative around battle. This could be initiative around escape. It could be initiative around, like, this is just initiative order so I can get everybody's
Is
dues off.
anybody blocking the way out?
No, nobody is currently blocking the way out.
I'm just going to turn to them and go, run. And then I'm going to, like, hoof it for the door.
Okay, so like using your movement speed, your action. Do you have any other bonuses to being able to run fast?
I will, as close as I can get, before I do that, but as close as I can get to our feet, I'm going to use my ring to cast Entangle, like out through the room behind us as much as I can, and then turn and run.
Okay, so you're gonna run to the door with your friends, holding Entangle until they're with you.
Right.
So that you
Like,
can
I will hopefully
the
leave them
room in-
entangled until I'm out of range of the spell and it drops. Just
Okay.
to keep people from chasing us right away.
easily within your movement speed is to get to the door and make room for your friends to run through and be ready with the action of Entangle to follow. Okay?
Okay.
The next thing that happens is the let me me see who's going to go first because my eyeball just itched. I had to itch it. I couldn't resist. The dwarf woman with the really thick beard that was kind of hunched over with the worn satchel. She reaches into her bag and she pulls out from within it a bottle of something and she tosses it your direction. Any of you get hit, and this is Ulua and Seraphina. Either of you get a hit from a 14 to hit.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so Ulua, the bottle hits you. This was her best throw that she's ever capable of doing without rolling a natural 20. And I think this should be fun for you to roll it rather than me rolling it. So since it hit you, Ulua, could you just roll a d20? And if it's higher than your armor class, the bottle breaks, and if it's lower than your armor class, it does not break. Is that lower than your armor class? I don't know.
Yeah, my armor class is 14.
The bottle does not break and bounces down, and you can see this green viscous fluid within it. And
Can I have can I shout can I have a free action reaction? Or just a free action shout?
sure.
Haha! The junk in my trunk has saved me!
I just look at her butt.
And distracted with her butt, you almost don't see the knife coming flinging at you from the shadows. Seraphina does a 16 hit.
Yes. Damn her butt.
You take you take 3 points of piercing damage as the cloaked figure that's kind of just surrounded in a perpetual shadow. You can see now that they're in motion, tries to kill you. That takes us to Larissa's turn.
So, Seraphina, did you choose to run?
It's
once it's
not
my
her turn.
Oh, right. She's after me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
I
after
am
you.
going to. Can I hold my movement?
No.
And action? Okay.
You can hold your action as a movement action and use your action to move, or you can move.
Okay.
What?
You can use your action to move, so if she holds her action as a movement action, she can
Yeah.
hold it until then. But she can't hold her movement.
I am going to yell to Seraphina and Gus. Words.
Great yell.
No.
Very useful.
Good vocal warm up.
I'm just trying to think of how to articulate it. Get ahead of me. But I start moving towards the exit, but I'm not moving as fast as I can.
That's good because I have short little legs.
Yeah, that's
Short little legs of
so that's why I said
So-
get ahead of me. I don't know what their speed
My
is
movement is
versus
25.
mine. Okay. So that's
Well, you
I'm
can see
not-
that Gus is just outside the door
Yes.
with a line of sight on the room. You can position yourself also outside the door and still see into the room.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to equal to where Gus is and tell Seraphina and yell to Seraphina, get past us. And I'm going to hold my action until Seraphina is past me, and then I'm going to cast fear
Okay.
down that way.
So you're both holding spells. Make sure you've already marked them off because just by the act of holding it, those slots are used.
Got it.
Seraphina, it's your turn. She stays in the room.
Holding... I sit down and I start to knit.
I sit down and think about what I've done.
Friends are all doing the right thing to escape in a chase scene and setting up a chase scene. Seraphina, sits down, eats a candy bar.
Have a Snickers.
Well, I'm gonna just do what. No. I'm gonna
Let's do what I want.
use my movement and start to run, as I was told, because I'm very obedient of Ulua. And then.
Oh, that's for later.
Whips and chains excite me.
And then, I mean, I'm gonna just do what I was gonna do, which is hold a. Oh no, I have to ask because I tried to Google it and I can't remember. If I have a spell at 2nd level, but I don't have any 2nd level slots, can I still use it at a lower level?
Not at a lower, only at a higher.
Only at a higher. Okay, then I just run. That's all I'm gonna do.
Are you
I'm gonna
running
use-
and using your action to run as well, so you get even further?
Yes.
Okay,
I was told
so
to run. I'm running.
Seraphina, you run, and you're running out the door. And not only are you running out the door, you run past the clerk who's sitting at the desk, sitting up with alarm because the fact that somebody's running means something's probably gone wrong. As she runs past you, Gus, you had readied the entanglement spell. Go ahead and talk to me. What does that do?
Strength 13 save. Grasping weeds and vines sprout from the ground in a 20-foot square from a point within range. So basically like a square from like in front of Alua's feet, like out into the room.
Yeah. Perfect. So, Ulua, you see this eruption of vines from your feet forward into the room, just reaching up and grasping at anything. They catch hold of the dwarf, and that is the only person they catch right now, but you can see that they are blocking the entryway itself. And then you had held casting fear, so you cast fear. Talk to me about what it does. What do I need to...
Essentially, think along the lines of what in my head I kind of envision when Galadriel is presented with the ring in Lord of the Rings. Except instead of
You
it
go freaky mode.
instead of it being instead of necessarily coming or me being changed, it kind of emanates from me almost, and like that it it says a phantasmal representation of a creature's like worst fears, so it's almost like it bursts out of me kind of, so I remain unchanged, but as I do that, I like put my arms down kind of like in a almost in like a encompassing gesture, and I say fear me, and as I do that, light kind of just like bursts out of me and turns into a projection
Scary ghost.
of of one of the heads of Tiamat.
Whoa.
Oh, she'll love me and despair.
My brain definitely went to like the old man and Courage the Cowardly Dog, where he just puts on a big purple mask and goes oogada boogada.
What's the save for the fear spell?
Wisdom 14. It's not huge, but
Something.
yeah.
If you had done the, my thought, maybe it would have been higher.
You get a +2 for Oogity Boogity.
So the air crackles with this almost nervous energy as Gus unleashes his spell, and the arcane energy pulsed from his outstretched hand, weaving that net of emerald light that then became these entangling things. And Ulua also launches this monstrous sound, and then almost like you can just imagine, but you don't hear the roar of Tiamat from ancient times, this mythological figure that nobody really knows if it was real or not at this point in history, but was one of the major ascending things that led to modern day Overton and the various trials and tribulations, and is tied so deeply with the lore about the Timeless Trio and others. But you look inside and you can see the dwarf, the elf, and this shadowed figure, faces contorted in primal terror. Ulua's spell has taken hold, and two dart back against the furthest wall, almost invisible in the darkness as the shadowed person and the elven person run that direction, whereas the dwarf, entangled as they are, is unable to move, but prostrates themselves, tears pouring down their face. On the other side of the wall, the racket continues as the orc, the griffin-esque creature, and the other one who I forgot right now, all bang upon their side of the partition, still swept by the magic that affected them. And it becomes clear to you all that while magic shouldn't be working there, it somehow did work on that side. The collapsed body of Magic Mike, the only evidence that you were meeting with that individual. The elven individual, you can hear a whimper. In place of Tiamat, this person actually saw a swirling vortex of raw magic. So while the overall scent and feeling is that Tiamat moment, but this tempest almost threatened to consume her whole, the shadowed individual seems to be fighting off spiders coming out of every surface of their body. It is a chaotic scene and a testament to your magics, fear, and that takes us back up to the start with Jason. We're now in a chase scene officially.
Can I roll an Arcana check? Are these people mind controlled, or were they planted there to attack us? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Roll. You can do that at Arcana, or you can do that Insight.
My Insight bonus sucks, so I'm going to do Arcana.
Okay.
Apparently, my roll also sucks, so that's a 9.
In general, that was a reasonable number of people to be in the visitation space at any time. Planted or not planted, it's too indistinct to tell. Definitely affected by magic, but you're not quite sure.
I will. I don't want. I'm afraid to hurt anybody because I don't know if they're innocent or not. That's the problem. I'm just gonna hope it another 25 feet up the hallway, hopefully close to where Seraphina is now, and just hold my concentration on the entangle spell. I guess I will just, for now, mage armor myself, and wait.
You've run out to the space where you can also see the person at the desk, and following your actions, they have fully stood up now, and they say, "What's going on?" Feel free to use a free action to respond to that.
All of the other visitors started to attack us, and someone killed Magic Mike on the other side of the glass.
Quickly reaching over, he touches some arcane symbol that's been etched into the desk. And you hear what's familiar to you, Gus, just because of your training and knowledge, the signal that there's a prison riot.
Wee woo.
And with that, closes both their turn and your turn. The dwarf is going to see if they can't. They did not. The other two they did not. Lovely.
More terrible and powerful than the sea!
You, Gus and Seraphina, as the furthest out, you catch a sight ahead of you in the tunnel, an individual who is running up and away. They are running up the stairs that would lead them further up. If you would like to know anything else more about that, you'll have to roll perception checks and try to catch it.
Sure.
But you do hear...
Sorry, I missed that very beginning part.
You two are far enough
said
ahead
something. Yeah.
that you can see somebody ahead of you running up the tunnel.
You are in
Oh, just somebody. Okay.
Somebody.
And then you do both to roll intelligence saving throws. Sorry, almost forgot that part.
Jeez Louise.
17.
17 for the saving throw. And then... natural 20?
Yeah!
Perception.
Seraphina ain't missing a fucking thing today.
Plus 5. So another 25. It's the dice that Larissa got me.
Okay.
No, Rory.
So,
No, Larissa.
I don't remember.
Seraphina, you
It's funnier if it's Rick, because they're working against them.
you quickly pierce what is an illusion spell that you're able to recognize this, Seraphina. What you saw ahead of you was an individual that looks a lot like that picture. Like just you caught a glimpse of the chin, but then you see through it and you can tell that it wasn't even really there. There is no one running ahead of you. Gus, I don't know. What did you roll?
17 for the saving throw. Perception was 9.
You don't make out who the figure is, but you also see this spell just disperse. You can still, both of you can still tell where that spell was running, but you now know that it was not real. It was just an illusion. Okay, and that takes us to Larissa. Chaos behind you, your two friends ahead of you, and a blaring alarm going on. All is not right with this prison scene. You are all still disguised as your farmer selves.
Would I still be if I'm running?
Oh, that's
Not
a
that I
Oh,
don't
yeah, I need you to
want to,
roll a
but-
dexterity saving throw. Let's see if you lost part of your disguise.
Okay.
There's a question: is that voice that was in her head see through the disguise, or is she chasing down 3 farmers?
I love this dice.
I have a feeling you're fine then, apparently.
Plus 4 plus what?
I did not hear any of that. Your mic.
Okay, when you
just said-
scream, you cut yourself out, so...
your mic just said.
Sorry.
She said another
Sorry,
25.
Oh.
Another 25.
Okay.
Another
with-
nat 20 plus 4 plus 1.
Yeah, everything's held together really well. You're not having any problems whatsoever. In fact, it almost feels like since you've been in this getup for a while, it's kind of like settled in on you, and you just feel like much more confident moving around in it. At first, you were afraid that a pen would fly out and the whole thing would collapse in a big, spectacular disruption, like cards that were stacked into a tower. Suddenly, you pull out the bottom one, they just explode. But instead, you're like, "Oh yeah, I got this."
Yay! We love a confident queen.
All right, great.
As I'm going to continue on out, following behind my friends. As I pass the desk clerk, who I'm assuming is still there,
Mm-hmm.
as a free action, I'm going to shout out. From what we could tell, the whatever was preventing magic behind the glass is gone. So please tell the guards they need to be extra careful.
Okay.
And
Poor Magic Mike. They broke the
think
magic dampener behind the wall right after he died. Or right before he died, he didn't get to take advantage.
and
Been mostly his fault, anyways.
He could have got away and serial killed some more people. What a sad day.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
almost
I
like
think I'm. Sorry, go on.
it's almost like some sort of illusory magic thing has been going on, tricking everybody.
I'm gonna go.
Ugh.
That's all I'm going to do. Sorry.
Are you using your action to continue running, or like you've used your movement to get caught up?
I mean, I'm not going to dash to get ahead. I'm gonna stay with the group.
So you're just
with or
foregoing any
behind.
action.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything further I necessarily want to do right now.
Okay. Yes, it is your turn.
So now that I know that the person running was not actually a person running, but illusion magic, and I'm very far ahead of everyone else.
Well, they
I'm
all
going
caught up
to
to you just
wait.
now, but you'll still be
Oh.
ahead. If you move,
Oh,
if you
okay.
don't move right now, everybody's just standing still. But everybody's caught up
okay.
right now.
Oh, everyone's caught up. Okay. I'ma keep running. I mean, my beautiful lady has not said what to do yet, so I'ma just keep running. I'm using movement, use my action. I'm gonna run.
Seraphina, you run ahead. Are you using your action as well to continue motion? Are you also? Yeah. Okay. Racing up the. You get to the stairs. You start racing up it. You do catch sight of the illusion's fleeting feet as they step away. It's actually a really. Some of the things you could observe in this moment is that it's a really good illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from the clicking of their heels as they race up to a smell of lavender as their illusory scent is left behind them. All right. They're all stuck. They're taking their time. Jason, this is devolving from a chase scene because my people are stuck. But it is an opportunity for you all at this point to escape the building of the Hollow Council and get away without your disguises being seen.
Cast fireball. Just kidding.
Okay, you cast fireball. Which direction are you casting that?
At my own feet. No.
Okay, Ulua, I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
No, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I think if we can get away without fighting, we'll just bail. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Since everybody's been running with me, I assume that's the plan.
So now that you're kind of all grouped together-ish, Seraphina just like darted off ahead a little bit. And since Alua's not sharing any directions for her, she's now officially an NPC who's just going to have to do whatever Ulua says.
Yes.
Oh, God. Don't give her that power. You
Turn into a way
Too
different
late.
podcast all of a sudden.
I would love for you all to just roll like some stealth checks just to see how well you're able to kind of like make your way out. It is evening, but just make your way out, and then we'll kind of end there with whatever the situation is.
No.
My good dice finally stopped being good.
Sorry.
There's every time we're at Sincere House, I use or I think almost every time there's a musical track I've been putting in called Sensual Jazz.
Jesus.
Mine is a 6.
Stealth, right? You said.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Shout
I'm
out
too busy,
to
busy running.
Roman
Can't be
Dudchyk, who
quiet.
is the composer on that.
19.
Gus, what'd you get?
Oh, sorry, what was the roll?
Stealth.
So focused on tooting his own horn.
That's a dirty 20.
All right.
Nice.
Seraphina, unfortunately, in your flight, parts of your disguise come off, and you realize that some horns are poking through. It catches some people's eyes, and you worry that someone might be able to identify you. But Ulua and Gus, you are both not attracting any more attention. The scene was pure pandemonium in the prison area. The creatures thrashing against shackles, the guard shouting out, getting help, the alarms going off, other folks coming back in. The spells entangled and messing things up. Everything just kind of went crazy there. Your escape pretty much goes unnoticed. Except for the real threat. What you don't see as we close down this session and this scene is from the shadows somewhere within the from within the Hollow Council as you make your escape, a cruel smile plays on lips that would be familiar if you saw them. And running into your head as you pass through the outer gates, you hear, "Running won't save you. The fear may subside, but the knowledge of your deepest terrors will linger, and I will be able to find you wherever you go." You can reply to this message if you would like to.
I would like to.
Yes.
Find me, bitch.
I'll say,
As-
why don't you come and say that to our faces?
I say nothing. I'm just like, oh.
As you take advantage of the inherent properties of this magical spell that does allow you to get a last word in, silence is the only thing that returns. And with that, we end this session and hope you have had a wonderful time watching Probability of Demise, where you've liked, subscribed, left comments, sent us chocolate and cookies, bought some of our happy little merchy thingies, and are generally you're the thing.
General.
Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you have a
Hold on.
wonderful.
If you do send us cookies, make sure they're gluten-free because Rurik is gluten-free.
Send the cookies to them. I need to lose some chubbies.
We literally don't have an address to send things to, so don't even worry about it.
Thank you very much for joining us.
If
Hope
you
have
want
a
to send
wonderful
things,
time.
we'll get a P.O. box, but there has to be more than one of you.
Find your pod.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Okay, bye.